Hey, Gary, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
It's funny because
absolutely.
like we were talking and like I totally thought we were live before, and like I was like roaring to go, and then I was like, oh, we're not live. I'm like, well, this is a different feel right now.
Dude, you were diving into it and I was like, "Wait, this is really great stuff. Like this needs to be recorded." I was like, "I should probably tell him that we're not actually being recorded." But
It's like
if you
you
want to
go
say it
golfing
again,
and
go
you don't
for it.
even bet. Well, no, I
Yeah.
was like the biggest thing like in life I feel is like you become like the five people you hang around with the most.
Mm,
And it's very important to pick and choose who you want to be and why. And everybody kind of balances you out and you learn something from everybody, but like I definitely thrive to like meet people like you that have a message that want to like make people's lives better because Jim Carrey was definitely one of my personal heroes and like somebody I always did impressions of. And his one of my favorite quotes of his was, the greatest currency you have is the effect you have on other people. And if one kid hears your message, or a parent that is dealing with like kind of homophobic like ideals and like placing them on their son or daughter, and you made their life better. That is just tremendously awesome. And more people need to follow you, and I hope you get into like the millions within like a couple of months.
appreciate it. That'd be crazy. Uh, and yeah, I totally agree. I think there's a ripple effect too. Like if you impact one person's life, that person could impact their friend or their mom, and it just ripples and becomes exponentially larger than the actual source. As you said, you Jim Carrey inspired you. Well, look at you now. You have 40,000 something followers on TikTok, and he shaped kind of your mindset or how you thought about things. And so now you have 40,000 people following you, and
For sure.
it stemmed from Jim Carrey. So it is this kind of big ripple effect that I think a lot of people should realize that, because even if you have like one person following you, that one person can make a big difference
Oh yeah.
within that ripple effect. So well, I appreciate your kind words. Why don't you tell the audience just a little bit about yourself? Who you are and what you do.
Sure. Well, I'm 32. I'm from the south side of Chicago in a nice little suburb area, and uh, man, you know what's funny is usually I try to talk about other people and their experiences, because I don't know, but it's kind of funny to like talk about myself. But like here, my biggest goal is to every morning you got to wake up, and your biggest goal is to conquer your mind and what you're about to do and what you're about to achieve. And what people don't understand is most of the time that it's you that's in the way of you achieving your goal. And like that's my biggest thing. So like with like ego and like emotional motives of like mostly people say things or like buy a watch or like a piece of clothing to have somebody compliment them. Well, if you can just kind of get past that nonsense and realize it's all an illusion and it's just a byproduct of your thought and your thoughts create
Mm,
your reality, that's like who I am. I'm like consistently changing my mindset in order to be the best version of myself. And I'm highly into fitness. I totally just did a 12-mile bike ride in this freezing cold rain, and like I was driving past these women, and like this car was trying to like get past me, and I was like, "Dude, go! Like, stop being so indecisive." And the women, I'm like, I don't know what to say. And then like I looped around, and they like I came back, and they're like, "Are you from like South Africa? And like you've never seen rain before? And you're just trying to experience?" I'm like, "There's a lot of rain in South Africa, but like no, I live 3 blocks that way." But that's what people don't understand. Like, I was freezing out there, and most people spend their whole life trying to be comfortable.
mm,
And my whole goal is to be comfortable being uncomfortable, which like stems from like Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, and David Goggins, and like people like Nick Bear, who I like highly look up to. And if people just spent more time disciplining themselves, they would realize that their mind is this unlimited, untapped potential that they have. And that's why I try to teach them my thing. So that's like more about me. Like I just like fitness. I like working hard. I like having a good job, and just kind of paying it forward because God blessed me with like a lot of great gifts, and like I've been given such a head start that I got a lot of catching up to do. So sorry I went on like a rant there, but your turn.
No, that was great. That was awesome. And I think there's that needs to be touched on a little bit. It is the whole triumph through adversity thing. Is the when you have a hard time or something that's a struggle that you need to get through, it's sweeter. The victory is sweeter when it's harder. If everything is handed to you, if you're given, the most athletic body, if you're given, the prettiest face, like. Okay, those things you can't control. That might be the best example. But if you're given if you're given everything in life, there's no like you didn't earn it. That doesn't mean anything, right? But when you actually struggle and earn it, it makes it sweeter and it makes it something. You mentioned David Goggins. I just followed him on Instagram. Can you tell the audience just a little bit about him, like what he does?
Sure. David Goggins is a former Navy SEAL. Well, once you're a SEAL, you're always a SEAL. But he was a former Navy SEAL that grew up in a Indiana town that was actually pretty close to the headquarters of where the KKK would do rallies and blah blah. Like he actually sat in front of the kid whose dad was the leader of that chapter in that town, and he heard the N word all the time. His dad was running prostitutes out of his like roller rink area and selling drugs. And like David Goggins never went to school because he was consistently working at this roller rink. So his education was really affected by that. And he wasn't even able to read, and he cheated. And, he would always try to like fit in. But the thing is, like, when you have an abusive family like that, well, it's hard to fit in with like somebody that doesn't wonder, well, am I going to eat today? And like such things like that. Well, he was like 20 something years old, and he was like over 300 pounds, and he was killing roaches for a living. And he had to lose 110 pounds within a month in order to even join the Navy, because there was an age requirement which was coming up. And only one of his fucking, oh, sorry.
You're fine. No, we can cuss. Yeah.
I was like, dude, I don't know how those rules are on YouTube, but you cuss a lot on your TikTok, so you better calm your ass down today. But he lost the weight in like a month, and on top of it, he had to teach himself how to read and pass the ASVAB and do it in a way in which you have to get a certain amount of points to become a SEAL or to even try out. So he tried out for SEAL training, and he failed twice medically. So he basically went through it 5 days, which is no sleep for 5 days. And then the third time, they're like, dude, if you don't pass this time, you're done. And he had $30,000 in debt. He had a kid on the way, and he ended up doing it. And he just went on to do so many more things within the military. He went to Army Ranger School for fun. Like, I don't know. Do you know anything about Ranger School?
No. I mean, I assume it's hard.
But. Yeah, like it definitely is like compares to SEAL training, because they tell you to like gain 20 pounds of fat. So when you go there, you're gonna lose all this weight. You're gonna be like sticking bones because they don't feed you for like 3 months. Because there's 3 phases. There's Florida phase, mountain phase, and then I can't really think about the last phase, but yeah, it's crazy. And he became the squad leader, and he ended up trying out for Delta Force, and he didn't make it. And now he runs ultra marathons, raising millions of dollars for kids whose parents died in the armed forces. So the dude's just like the literal epitome of badassery and also adversity triumpher person, if you want to say.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah, he get up at like 4 a.m. every day and run like a crazy amount of miles or something. And
well, ultra marathons are 100-mile marathons, and they do it in 24 hours. But he's able to complete them way quicker. Like he did one thing called the oh god, what is that called? Something. Anyways, it's like 238 miles, and they do it in like 4 days. It's like, dude, like you're insane.
Right.
But like, dude, that is amazing. Like, and he just does it because like that's his, like, people that go drink like me, if I don't work out, it's gonna be bad for everybody, especially me, because it's the number one underutilized antidepressant, and I have all this energy and I gotta put it towards something. And if you put it towards something productive, like making TikToks like you make, and channels like you make and clothing like you make, which I didn't wear the shirt because it's absolutely freezing here today.
That's okay.
Um,
Not judging.
but yeah, dude, like use the gifts towards what God gave you.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you get into fitness? Was it just something you were always interested in, or did something kind of set that in motion? Did you have a hard time that led you to fitness?
I always loved movies, and I always liked the bad guy and like the Joker, and like I always was like drawn to people that were like just awesome and different. And when I was like 5 or 6, I used to instead of watching cartoons, I'd watch ESPN, and they would work out. And I would do the workouts along with them, and then was like, well, I want to be huge and look powerful because all the people on these movies I watch were powerful, and I wanted to. And I felt that because I have such high empathy, and I could feel every character's emotion in every movie I ever watched. So like when I was watching these guys on TV, I'm like, dude, I want to be like that. So when I was like 9 years old, I told my mom to pull over and go to the Gold's Gym. And I walked in and I go, dude, how old do I got to be here, to join? He's like, where's your mom? I'm like, she's in the car. How old do I got to be? He's like, 14. I'm like, all right, I'll see you then. And then like a month after I turned 14, I was a member there. And I was fortunate enough to have like some dudes train me for like a year, and they taught me everything. And then I went on and now I'm 32 and I'm an old man and I can't even bend over after a workout without going, oh my God, my knee hurts. What the fuck?
Oh
It's
God, well that's
bad.
starting to happen to me. So
How old are you?
24.
Oh God, dude. Oh, that's so sick. Oh, dude,
The
so
it,
sick.
the body just starts, it's slowly, you just notice different things. One day it's like, oh, why does my hips feel like this? And then
You're like, I got hurt in bed. I was sleeping. How
right.
did I hurt my neck sleeping? So it's fucked up.
I actually have a bad shoulder. It's not an impingement, but it's like where the rotator cuff bone, it's like it's the muscle or the thing in between it is kind of like sawed down, so it's like rubbing bone on bone. It's a genetic thing mostly.
Oh, okay, I was like, you look like a baseball player with the beard and the long hair.
No,
No
but
pitching.
it does affect baseball players. It's a common thing amongst pitchers, I think. Uh,
Yeah, I'm starting to fitness. I
so
have like a whole thing of
are you?
red vines here.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I said I'm so into fitness, but I'm eating like a massive amount of red vines right now.
So I saw you, or I found you on a TikTok. You were talking about hookup culture and grinder, and the problem with young gays, and why so many younger gay kids can't find relationships, or have a weird perspective on relationships, is because of grinder and hookup culture, or that's a part of it. Do you recall that TikTok video
Yeah, for sure.
specifically? Or yeah.
There's probably like 10 of them.
Yeah, there was a few, I'm sure, that were very similar. What I guess what inspired you to make that? Like was it a personal experience or more of an observation?
Well, I think that one a lot of the reason, well, to just answer your question point blank, I just had a lot of bad relationship experiences, and
Mm.
you know, when I first like tried to like go on a date when I was 21, I was walking around one of the local malls with him, and I grabbed his hand. It's like, oh, finally I could do this. And he like pulled away. And then like for the first time in my life, I felt like insecurity. I was like, wait, what? Why? Like what? I want to actually piss off the people that, you know, and if they got a problem, because like I'm me and I accept me. And then like because I had empathy, I felt that. Like I've never felt
Mm.
that level, and then I just slowly just took it over from everybody in the community and all my exes, and then um you know unfortunately you get cheated on and stuff, and you forgive people, and you just I rationalized it like maybe they didn't have as good of an upbringing as me, so I have to be the one that's patient because they're trying to find uh like acceptance through other avenues because they weren't accepted at a younger age. But really, it's just like it's kind of bullshit, dude. You're just kind of giving a pass to somebody that doesn't deserve a fucking pass. And I
Mm.
tried my hardest, and like I basically I just live in like a kind of like a pissed off state a lot, which drives me to work out good and like made me make those videos because like I was just sitting there if something triggered me and I was like, and I walked out of my house and I go and I made it and I sat down and I posted it and I was like watching TV. I'm like, oh shit, this one's a blow up one. I'm like, sweet, that's cool. There's always the
Yeah.
ones that like don't think out. It's like the ones that are like, fuck, I feel this one, and then boom.
Yeah, it's when it comes from the heart. I mean, for anyone listening that wants to make TikToks, or anything really, any type of content, my best advice would be to do it when you're in the moment. And if you can't film it at the time, at least try to write it down, because when you are inspired and you just feel that clicking in you and you start talking, like it comes out way better than if you were trying to fake it or to script it, if that makes sense. So live in the moment and do it in the moment. So yeah, the whole point of that video was kind of that because of society's view on LGBT people and like the overall acceptance of it, that it's forced us to kind of go behind the scenes if we want to hook up or if we want to have a relationship. And I think that's obviously a great point, because like when we're not allowed to, walk down the street holding our boyfriend's hand, or when we're not allowed to be. I remember one of my first like dates, as you could call it. I was 23 at the time, maybe 22. And I was in the movie theater, and like the whole time, like we really liked each other. We had already been on a date before, but we were in the movie theater, and like there was this tension to like hold each other's hand the whole time. And I was in Mississippi at the time, and I just felt this overwhelming fear of like judgment, and like I can't hold his hand because what if the person behind me is like a major homophobe? What if like we get beat up? Like what if we get yelled at? Like, and I was like, this doesn't, like, it brought tears to my eyes because like this doesn't exist for straight people, right? And we eventually did it. Like we held hands for the last like half of the movie, and it was just so beautiful. Like that was my first time actually like showing any type of public affection, and it brought tears to my eyes because like this is amazing. This is what straight people must have felt like, in high school. And here I am at the end of my college career finally doing this. But yeah, it's just one of those things that people, especially if you're straight or cisgender, like you just don't understand that we feel suppressed that way.
Sure, absolutely, especially in Mississippi.
Yeah. So I went down there for college. It was kind of part of my own journey and running away from my sexuality, because I didn't just like run away from my sexuality, but I like tried to method act and become everything that I wasn't. So I wanted to become a Southern frat boy. Like I wanted to be like into football. And so like, I don't mind football, but I'm not like, I pretended to be way more into it than I was. And so I went to the South and joined a fraternity and basically just, became the opposite of what I was,
Sucks,
all for
dude.
the sake of trying to hide. I know.
Because there's that quote, like when your mind, your body, your soul, and your intentions aren't intertwined as one, acting together to achieve your goals, your oars out of fucking sync. And that sucks that, and you feel that fucking, that wall you're hitting all the time, dude. But like, that's fucking brave though, that, you realized it within a year,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty quick evolution of an epiphany there. So good on you,
no,
bro.
absolutely. I was able to come out and enjoy post come out life and have some fun. And then, it was about a year and a half later when I started this whole Alphabet Mafia thing. And I was like, I need to figure out a way to give back. And basically I tried to create and become the person that I wish I had, or that I wish was around when I was struggling, So
Sure.
Most of my high school and teenage years, I could have used something like the Alphabet Mafia, not to toot my own horn, but anyone who's active like that. I wish I was aware of that. So, and yourself. Looks like we have a question. Do you mind if we answer this question real quick?
Yeah, shoot.
So Furry Hater says, oh, wow. It's an interesting name. Why is not being normal and straight not being celebrated too? Or why are we normal people supposed to accept something that harms the society and objectively weird normal? It appears this question is from someone that is. Are you anti-LGBT?
For sure.
This person. It says, "Why are we normal people?" So, what do you mean by normal? Okay, I'm going to ignore this question.
Traditional. No. I'll take it. Let me take it. So,
okay.
Let me just say, you have 70,000 thoughts per day that make your reality, basically. So, I'm assuming you grew up in a heterosexual place. You've never experienced any kind of hate. I don't know how old you are. And you get rewarded for saying things that your dad or mom or uncle or something says, and you fit in, and it feels good to fit in. And you've never had to adverse over some bullshit like we've had to adverse through. So you saying that is just one, you trying to fit in, and then also getting a reaction from us, which you're not going to get from me, hence I'm so fucking smart and intelligent and emotionally aware. And hopefully you do evolve to the point where you understand that literally you sound like somebody that is from, like, say 1960s going, well, the African Americans, which they wouldn't have said African Americans, are in our schools now and there's a harm to society. You are so fucking outdated. You're like, it's 2020 and you're probably like a younger person, which is so fucking sad. Like, roll the fuck up, live your own life, and stop trying to put harm on other people. Like, if you were, say, like a fat person and you try to work out with me, you think I'm going to call you fat? No, I'm going to try to give you confidence because we're all different. And that's what makes fucking life great, is because it's a mixing pot of a very, like, let me just say this. Humans have been here for like only 6,000 years or something. Dude, we're a blip on this earth. So there's a reason we're here, and it's to learn from everybody, because we're all the same, trying to achieve the same things. You just haven't learned that your 70,000 thoughts haven't been trained in order to realize that there's other people in the world, and it's just not you and your family and your happiness, because you affect other people. So you saying that is your idea, and you should probably read up on some other shit to, like, better yourself. Because if you are a guy, let me just say this really quick, if you're a guy and you say that in college, chicks are going to think you're fucking stupid. You're not going to get laid because of the fact that you don't accept gay people, because I guarantee they have a gay friend. Moving on.
Then you can all the hot ones. Dude, you went off. And
oh yeah,
yeah,
dude.
all the hot girls aren't going to accept
all day long. Like, I like, this is great. I love to argue too. My favorite class in college was argumentative speech. So I'm like Ben Shapiro, just on the opposite version of the side.
I love that. Gosh. Okay, look, not to mention, this person is in our live stream. Like, this is the Alphabet Mafia live stream. Why are you in here? You know, I'm not going to say it's a waste of your time. You're learning, but why are you in here if you don't like us? It just seems counterproductive. Go do something that's productive to your own interests.
And you can't argue against people that don't have any logical sense. So, like, I would assume to ask, like, okay, I give them the benefit and I'll be like, are you here to maybe evolve your mindset and learn something new in which you didn't learn, which would open your horizons to accept LGBT people? Or which is probably not true, they're just probably here to get a rise. Because, like, Howard Stern, like, his followers, like, 20, like, his listeners that liked him, like, listen to him for like 20 minutes. His haters listen to him for an hour and a half. So, you know, thanks for giving us a view.
Yeah, right. Oh, and I love it. I love it when haters comment on TikTok, because obviously commenting is good for the algorithm. So whenever I get like a bad comment, I go, "Hey, keep commenting." And then all of my followers keep commenting, like, eat it up, and it's funny, and it just extends the whole thing.
See, David Goggins blocks anybody that says anything negative on his feeds. He just doesn't deal with them, and I do the same thing. I have probably a 700 block list on TikTok.
Jeez.
I don't get that many. Actually, I don't get that many negative comments. Everybody's really respectful, and they know that the ban gun comes out during my lives and shit if you say something sexual or something demeaning or something against somebody else. So I'm glad that they're really respectful on my platform. But yeah, dude, I just don't deal with people that are like that. I try to, like, educate them, but they got to want to educate themselves.
Yeah, that's That's true. They can only educate them so much before they have to open up their mind themselves. You know, you can't force them to open up their mind, but you can provide them with information to an open mind. What, if you don't mind, can we talk a little bit more about your personal yourself? Like when did you come out?
21.
21.
So like 25
How did
years
your
ago.
parents take it and everything?
That was real cool. You know, the next day she was like, you know, I love you. Doesn't matter, blah blah blah. So you know, nice. Um, and then dad and me, we just didn't talk about it forever. I went on a date when I was like 24, because like from 21 to 24 it was kind of like okay, like I just kind of like brushed it off. But then at 24, I was like, no, I'll try to get a boyfriend. And then I had like a date for New Year's, and I was getting ready, and he was kind of like, "Where are you going?" And like, you know, the apple doesn't fall far on the tree, and like, yeah, you could have moved out, you know, at a way younger age, but I like my parents. I like being at home. It's nice not having bills. It's fun. And but anyways,
Yeah.
moving on from that, I was like, well, you if you don't know, you're kind of stupid. And I'm like he's like, yeah, but it's wrong. And I'm like, okay, let me just tell you, like, this is exactly word for word what I say. I go, would you rather have a kid that is so unconfident that he kills himself because he doesn't accept who he is, and like you just kind of maybe pushed him towards that with your statement, and literally in the gay lottery, you won the jackpot, like of gay guys, because I'm friends with all your friends. I shake hands harder than you, dude. I like look people in the eye when I meet them. I work hard. I work out like you can't even like nobody really assumes that I'm gay until like I say it or something. And it's like so all those things like, you know, I could like and I have nothing against people that wear make honestly, I do Joker makeup and stuff, and I think makeup is like an art form, and I think the people that do it,
Oh, it
holy
totally is.
shit. But like I know like how much harder would it be on you if I was like wearing makeup and high heels and walking around wearing mom's clothes, like which is not like do your thing, dude. I dressed up like the Joker probably like 9,000 times. It wasn't even Halloween. Like like dude, I'm weird as fuck.
Yeah.
And like not saying that wearing those things is weird. I'm just saying it's not traditional. And like
Right.
I told him that, and he's like, well, and like you know he doesn't know how to express himself. So I left, and it's like you shouldn't like have to leave, you know, to go on a date having had that conversation prior. And the only thing is like everybody that I date has not shown me that they're worth it. And you know, um, they don't have the qualities that I align myself with. It's like I always joke, like everything I liked about guys growing up, none of them have any of the qualities that I like. Like I am like a frat boy, dude. Like I could go into a frat and I'll be the president within a week. Like that's just who
Yeah.
I am. You know, like I'm just like a straight dude, and like I'm very on it. Like I'm emotional, but I'm not. But like long story short, like all my friends are straight. For the first time within this week, I started hanging out with this girl, and we've become like really good friends. And I'm like, damn, this is different. Like this is a different feel. Like usually gay guys only hang out with girls, and like they have very hard time hanging out with straight guys. But yeah, it's just it's a different type of world that we live in that we have to triumph over these little obstacles, which is fine though.
Sure. So obviously, you're very into fitness. We've talked about that, and you have a you know, I mean, I've seen your Instagram. You have huge arms, good body. Do you think that because a lot of people would say yes, but do you think that there's a toxic like that there's a toxic side to this whole masculine fit personality in the gay community specifically? Whereas if you don't have abs, you don't have muscles, then you're ugly. Is this? I mean, a lot of people say this is a problem. What are your thoughts?
I think that no matter what, physical features will always be important to people, especially if you yourself have them. I always say that I made a TikTok like many months ago that got hit like a lot of views, and that kind of opened the door for people to understand that I wasn't just here to like post thirst traps or like be typical whatever. And I said, if you have a good face and like you basically won the genetic lottery, you didn't earn that face. It was
Mm.
just it happened that your parents had were good looking and it created that. And so don't feel that that's going to get you by, because when you grow up, people are going to evolve and have a good mindset and realize that being kind and good and an actual decent person, that's the cool thing to do. So when you say something like totally arrogant, you're going to look real dumb. And then you're going to like what, say it's their fault for not like giving you those compliments that you've been getting. Like evolve and become something better within yourself, because that's just something that you just got lucky with. So that's my one thought on that. But also, it's like, because the gays have to deal with so much hate all the time, um, that I think that they somehow have to just like release it, and rather than release it productively, like through working out or something. Obviously, a lot of gay guys work out, but like a lot of gay guys don't. They turn to like drugs and alcohol and partying and this like look at me and wear crazy clothes and like, which is fine, but it's like there's this over arrogant, like, because like they don't know how to react when people are putting them down. They have this huge defense mechanism in which they're ready to like, but then they're like, but I want to be accepted and liked, so I can't do, and then it confuses them, and then the people that are in the community that they should be the nicest to, they're the meanest to, because they have clout within the community. And it's like, no, you don't. You have this illusion of it. So there is like a toxic type of, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to, if I look like this, then I'm the shit. But it's like you could earn a body. So if you're like saying like, oh well, he blow, like, no, dude, like it takes me out. Like I've been training for an Ironman for like the last 5 months, and I've like this April done 575 miles on my bike alone. Like it takes time. I have lactic acid in my muscles, and it's the stress hormone, and I'm always sore, and I'm always thinking about food and like what to eat, how many grams of protein. So, people that are super in shape, if you actually get down and talk to them and ask for their help, they love to help. Like give it a shot. But there's definitely some kind of weirdness to that, that femme is bad, and which is not. It's just you're in tune with your emotions.
Well, yeah, and I think that the problem is it's when it becomes exclusive, where you're not invited to the party, or you're not invited to our brunch or whatever it is, because you're fat and femme, and that's when it becomes the issue. It's not an issue of it's an issue of when it becomes cliquey, and you're just not. Everyone has their preferences. Everyone's going to. Some people are really just attracted to very muscular people. Like that's just their type. And then, so when it's like, but when it becomes like when you start excluding people because they don't look the part, because they're not white, because they're too fat, that's when it becomes the major issue, in my opinion. And I mean, I personally don't have any experiences with that. I don't have friends that are like that. I was never in a group that was like that, but I just know it's out there. And just doing this podcast, talking to people, I know I was talking to one guy up in LA. He's a gay Muslim, so he's not really white either, and he's a little overweight. But he was just telling me about the whole scene in LA is like you're masculine, you're white, and you have abs, and you're doing coke all the time in the same circle jerks, like doing all this stuff, and it's this toxicity that comes from it. But yeah, of course, there's nothing wrong with working out or looking good. I think that we should actually encourage that because it's healthier, and we
like,
want
dude,
our
like,
people to be healthy.
People are, I don't mean to cut you off, but like if people are like doing cocaine and like look like that, do you really want to like hang out with those people? Like they're doing you a favor. And like honestly, like groups, no matter what, I think gay people forget that like straight people also go through adversity, like the same thing. Like honestly, like I love to golf. I'll invite anybody to come golf with me. It doesn't matter if you suck or whatever. But like if we're playing in a scramble format, most of the time I'm calling my go-getters but that's to achieve a money-winning prize and to vibe off of each other and hit the best shot possible to win something. So it's kind of like a draft, but like, to not invite somebody to a party because they're like, okay, you're not dating them. You don't have to sleep with them. You don't have to like, and it's like, I get like, you get like, but it's like, what is the point of not having them in your group? Like, unless they're like socially super awkward and like go out and try to help them become more comfortable within themselves so they could adapt. Because I think straight, gay, or anybody, they don't. People that are socially awkward don't get invited to things because there's this vibe that they, I was on a live once and this kid escaped a cult, and he's talking. I'm like, damn, this is fucking interesting. Like as soon as he said that, I'm like, wait, blinders, because like you don't hear that often. And like I watched this Joe Rogan podcast about that girl from King of Queens who was in Scientology. I'm like, this is gonna be interesting. And like within a minute, somebody wrote, "Oh my god, this is so cringe. Get him off." And he was like talking like this, and I like blocked that person so fucking quick. I'm like, this kid doesn't deserve to hear that shit. And I'm like, get the fuck off my live right now. And he didn't see it. I was like, sweet, if he sees this, but whatever. We're still friends. And like, dude, like, people need to understand that you're gonna learn something from somebody else's experience, and it's only cringe is because you're too insecure to put yourself there emotionally and empathize with the situation, which then creates apathy, which is wrong with the world.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly said. Perfectly said. So what inspired you to create your TikToks? Your whole account, I guess, I mean, it's awesome. And shout it out real quick for anyone listening.
Garbear88. It's funny, people always go Garbear. I'm like, no, dude, like I'm sitting there like in my phone, they can't even hear me, like, it's Garbear. But it doesn't even, but like it was just by accident because I was like working and I made it and I like made a couple and like I like deleted them. And then like I went to a Spartan race and my first video I was like I just got done running like a 9-mile obstacle course race and they give you a beer when you're done. And it was the first time I actually ever drank the beer because I always forgot because I was just like so hungry. And I was doing pull-ups and my ex who we've had our problems, and I wish him nothing but the best, and I definitely love him still. And like if I saw him in the street, I'd give him a big hug no matter what, because he definitely chilled me out a lot. So if he ever sees like my videos, like I hope he doesn't think that they're like about him or whatever. So like that's just a shout out if he sees this. But like I did a pull up and I had the beer in my mouth, and as I'm doing like I did like 10 pull ups, and then like at the end of it, I chugged the beer and then I started doing more pull-ups and like it went viral. Like it got like 108,000 views. I was like, oh, like I woke up the next day with 14,000 views. I'm like, dude, whoa, it's so fucking cool. I'm like, all right. And then like I'm like started making video and like the other one got like 3,000 views. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. And then I just kind of like kept going. So I was like, well, this is fun. I'm like, thank you, TikTok.
It's awesome. TikTok's been such a blessing, and it blows my mind that you can just record something and put it out there, and it could get 100,000 views. It could get 1 million views. Like it's insane.
Honestly, I'm waiting for 1 million views so much. Like that's my goal. I just want one video with 1 million views, and I'm like, yeah, all right, cool, thanks.
Hey, I'm waiting too. Believe it or not. So let's talk about working out more, because obviously you're very enthusiastic about working out. I think that's pretty clear. What would you say to someone who is on the fence about working out, who maybe they haven't worked out, or maybe they did for a while and they failed, or they didn't like it, or whatever? How would you inspire someone to get back into it, and I guess highlight the importance of why it's good for your health?
Well, that's funny because I did sales for fitness for 10 years, and like I was the general manager at different places and the sales managers at numerous gyms, and that was my job every day, was to like try to talk somebody into doing something that they would have to pay for that they didn't want to do. And it's very awkward to talk to a 45-year-old woman about her weight within 3 minutes of meeting her, and you got to like really be empathetic. And like these people don't realize if I talk to them the way I talk to me about working out, I would make them cry. And I got to step back, and like my money is based on you signing up, but I also want to see you do well, because like some of these people I've been friends with for 10 years now, and I love to see them come back 20 pounds lighter and they go to that wedding that they were like originally talking about. And the thing about like working out that stop people is the number one is the insecurity factor. They think like, oh, I'm gonna walk in and all these people are dialed up and they got their outfits on and they're amazing looking, and like, okay, but let me just tell you something. If they're doing that and the girl has makeup on and the guy is like, they're only thinking about themselves. trust me, they're not even beginning to judge you. Like they're so into themselves, like they don't even see you. You could talk to them and they might be like, what? Oh, hey, I didn't see that. And like, so don't worry about that. And two, that goes along with like gaining confidence of doing things that make you feel uncomfortable.
Mm.
So, and to be honest with you, gym goers, there's a clique that everybody is involved with, and like everybody knows everybody, and you say hi to everybody. And if you come up to a guy like me or like anybody, they will help you. They cannot wait to give you the knowledge that they've learned because it makes them feel so good. And gym life is like just wonderful. So don't feel insecure that you're gonna get judged because you're not. And if you do, that's a really horrible person. And like 99% of the people aren't gonna do that. So don't worry about that. And remember, everybody starts from ground zero, unless you're
Mm.
like that rip kid and like you have abs and then you just start gaining muscle. Like they started like a little bit heavier, but I started working out when I was 12 years old, with a 20-pound dumbbell. I had 12-inch arms when I was like 12. Like, dude, like that's nothing. And then like when I was 14, I was working out with guys that were benching 300 something pounds already, and I was only benching, I don't even remember, like 155 or something. And then you grow, and like by the time I was 18, I was benching 365 pounds, and it's like you just got to put the work in. So it takes time, and it's not like a race; it's a marathon.
Mm.
Um, because if I for 2 weeks don't work out and eat whatever, I will lose my muscle. It'll be like gone. So you have to consistently understand that this is a lifestyle. So there's no quick fixes. It's just good nutrition, which is 80% of it, and then the rest is working out and getting good recovery and sleep. And then, like, if you want me to talk about nutrition, I'd be more than happy to. Obviously,
Yeah,
don't
let's
eat
go into it.
massive amounts of red vines, but I deserved it. I did fasted cardio today. I don't even know how many miles I rode on my bike this week. So nutrition, which is super important. It fuels your body. Your body's basically a car, and you're putting premium gas in it, or you're putting shit gas into it. And if you're putting like super bad drugs in, that's like putting diesel into a regular car, and your car's gonna just fucking die within a mile. So no sugar. It's real simple. This is real simple. No sugar. I was eating 5 grams of sugar a day minimum for like 2 or 3 years. You got to understand that your body needs protein. Usually it's 1.6 times the amount of weight you are. So I usually take like 150 to 200 grams of protein, which is probably too much, but whatever. And then keep your carbs low and eat carbs before you do your workout because those are going to be utilized as energy. And there's two types of carbs: it's simple uh, carbs and complex carbs, and one's fast burning and one's slow burning. I might have to run in and get my other headphones. Tell me if you can't hear me anymore, or I'll just put them in here for a second. Um, so, just stay away from all the junk food, the sugar, the pop, the alcohol. If you do that, you will, oh my God, the amount of weight you're going to lose from just doing that is amazing. And you're going to feel great. Now, if you start incorporating like ground turkey, chicken, eggs, you know, water, water, and like just getting in, like walking 10,000 steps every day, like you will see such a significant difference that it's just amazing. But people don't realize like socially, food is such a social thing, and people eat to their feelings and stuff, and it's like I get that, and like some people have traumatic things that happen to them. They weren't given a life like me, so I definitely empathize with that. That's why I take my time, and I don't know how many times I've messaged people, maybe thousands, of what to eat, and sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't, but it's all on them.
How are you doing in quarantine with this whole diet and working out thing? Has your routine changed at all, or what's it like for you? Mhm.
Drastically has changed, sorta. Um, well, the first week, I slept 12 hours a day. I wasn't
Wow.
working because I'm low level seniority at my job because I started last year. I'm a union concrete driver. So basically, the head guys work, and if there's no work, the lower guys are off. And obviously, winter affects construction, so I was off, and the quarantine affected it. So, and I try to get out of my house as much as I can. I hate being home. I cannot stand it. If you put me to work from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then I go to the gym for 5 hours, like I'm happy as a clam. So I'm at home and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna sleep because there's no point. Then I realize like this is not gonna be over, and you gotta like come out of this being you again. So, I just started dieting again, and I started bike riding because I was bike riding at the gym, for like 3 to 4 hours a day, after my weightlifting session, because the Ironman consists of a 112-mile bike ride. So I was like, I better get on this because I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna be like, I quit. Like this is fucking crazy. And I still just recently did the 100 miles for the first time ever 2 days ago, and I still was like, dude, I'd have 12 more miles to go. I was done. Like I was like, dude, I'm eating fucking meatloaf. I'm like, somebody shoot me because I'm tired. And then I like looked up Nick Bear, who I met in Texas, that has a nutrition company called Bear Nutrition Performance, and I'm reading this book right now called The 25th Hour or 25 Hours a Day, and I follow his YouTube channel for like the last 4 years. He ran his Ironman in 11 hours and 28 minutes. So it took me 10 hours to do a 100-mile bike ride. That means in an hour and a half, I would have had to have gone 12 more miles on the bike, swam 2.4 miles, and then ran a marathon. Like, dude, how much more elite are you than me? Like, I felt like such a bitch. And like, that's what people don't realize. Like, on ego, like, there's somebody out there that totally kicks your ass. So don't get too cocky because there's 80-year-old women that do these Ironmans. I'm like, wow.
Jeez. So what Ironman is this for you? You said you've done them before?
I haven't even picked one yet. Because
Okay.
the one, the quarantine travel money. There's one in Hawaii that I'd like to do. Um, but yeah. So basically, to answer your question, since I'm so good at just staying on point, like I just bike ride outside now, and I try to go as long as I can. And then I was fortunate enough to have one of my friends that owned a gym because I had no weights. I remember a lifetime in charter, so I always had gyms. He gave me a straight bar with two 45-pound plates, so that's 135 pounds that I could do numerous workouts with. And then I got two 15-pound dumbbells that I use for numerous workouts. So it actually is kind of perfect. Not gonna lie, it's kind of awesome. The only thing is I'm just not lifting as heavy.
Yeah. Well, it's a strange time for everyone right now. So I could encourage everyone to try to, stay in whatever routine you had before. Don't venture too far into the woods, into the weeds of eating unhealthy or doing things like that. Do you need to charge those?
Give me like 3 seconds.
Okay. So furry hater, I'm going to entertain the people with this furry hater guy. He continues to send us bad comments. He says, I think, okay, so furry hater, you have to accept that being heterosexual is natural and prosperous. What kind of meaningful stuff do gay people bring to society? I'm sorry. What don't we bring to society? I don't understand how it's any different. What do heterosexual people bring?
We
to
don't
society?
bring hate, bro.
Yeah,
that's for sure. What the fuck are you bringing, man?
I'm very confused by what he's doing in our live stream, but he continues to pop off. So if anyone has real questions or wants to hear more from us directly, just send us a comment on here.
Yeah, is there like a kid out there that needs help with something? Because that's like the primary focus that I would love to like have somebody get confidence through just asking something and thinking differently.
Well, I'm sure someone who's going to listen to this when it's posted will definitely get some value out of that and get their confidence kicked into gear.
You can still hear me, huh?
Yeah, I can hear you. So yeah, it's
better
not as. It's a little bit better.
It's funny because like right now they're probably charged perfectly.
Right? They charge so fast.
Hopefully. Hello.
Hey, there you are. I can hear you.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, so let's talk about yeah, getting confident. Were you ever like have you ever been like not confident? Like talk to me about your experience, your times when you were struggling with that or feeling down about yourself. Was there any ever breakups or
Oh, dude,
like
that's my next
anything that shot your confidence? Was there any times that like really shot your confidence? Not like, oh, this guy can run the marathon faster than me, but like
Oh,
actual.
no, dude. I've been through the ringer with relationships. Um, I don't like. I'll never say names, but like the amount of times I've been cheated on and lied to,
Mm,
it's just crazy. And the way I found out, and then like when I was 20 something, maybe two, I had met somebody that I thought was like really cool, my type, blah blah. And we had fun, and we were safe, obviously. And within like a week, I get a call like, "Oh, I got something to tell you." And I'm like thinking like, "Oh, it's gonna be a joke, I hope." And like I'm like, "But it might not." And he's like, "I just wanted you to know that I was HIV positive." And I'm like, "Dude, like I'm 22. I've never experienced any kind of health issues." And so you basically didn't tell somebody and had sex with him, and like he was undetectable. But at 22, I had no idea. I've never experienced anything. Now I'm like the fucking guru on that subject because I've studied all the things. And for 5 months. Well, back then I guess like maybe the tests weren't as good as they are now, but I think it's like 90 days now it takes for HIV to show up in your bloodstream in order to get
mm,
tested. And so for 5 months, I'm this 22-year-old guy that can't talk about this stuff with anybody, and I'm by myself thinking I have this thing possibly, and I gotta wait to get tested, and like and then just like to be lied to is just like, dude, that's like the first time I was lied to with like crazy shit. And like obviously like everything was fine, and I got tested numerous times after that. And I do get tested like all the time, which everybody should. And I'm clean with obviously everything because I practice safe stuff. And that was detrimental to my psyche to go through that and not have anybody to talk to about that. And then it actually happened again later on, and it happened with like somebody that I was dating, and then because I found out I was getting cheated on through hacking emails and whatnot. But I'm not going to talk about that much. But like it's just like every time I'm so nice. Like the amount of times I've like drove an hour to pick somebody up, or like met families, and to just have somebody like literally be on their phone next to you texting other people. I didn't even know what Grinder was till I was 26. And the only reason I found out about it was because I saw it. I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't trust nobody. So, I went through my ex's phone, and like I see it, and I'm like, oh shit, what's this? And then you just see all the messages, and you're like, like it was just like, holy fuck, dude. I was just flabbergasted that somebody just could just not give a shit. Like they don't. When any time I try to achieve something, like I see the end result, and like I'm gonna win that thing. I'm gonna hit that shot. I'm gonna lift that weight, and it's like nobody in the gay community sees the end result, which is like the cute fucking pictures with your kids that you adopted or whatever, and the dog and the house and the jobs and the cars and the fun shit. They don't see that. They just see like I don't know what the fuck they see. They just see this like emotional release for like an instant, but they don't think down the road. And that's all I thought about. And now it's like, because of how many times I've been lied to and the amount of effort continuously, like I just blocked somebody the other day that I really, really liked. And, I messaged her like I was having a horrible day. And I definitely struggle with like super, super anger issues. Like, cause like I consistently want to like not tell people because like I don't know, I just stay quiet within the realm. But like that's why I work out so much, is because I'm very fucking angry because of all the experiences I've had through these guys that don't put in any effort. I put fucking more effort into strangers than they do their
mm.
own fucking people that they try to date. I got somebody texting me at 2 o'clock in the morning after like a 10-hour workday and working out, and I'm still talking to them about their life and their experiences. And it's like, dude, I can't get somebody to fucking just be decent. Like, dude, it's fucking mind boggling. And it just irks me, and I'm kind of done. Like, I'm kind of done with relationships because I've never met anybody that is even, because I used to give the benefit of the doubt but that's gone. Like if within whatever amount of seconds you can't teach me something or do something that I'm like, damn, that's fucking impressive, because I'm consistently looking at David Goggins, Navy SEAL. I'm looking at this dude, fucking entrepreneur. I'm looking like I want to be like these guys, like you on your tick. Like I want to be like fucking successful, like people that have integrity. And it's like nobody's shown me that. So I've definitely like, and I'm an only child, and I just overthink everything. So like I just beats into me over and over again. And like that's what I miss most about my relationship though. Like my past one was, I always joke about cuddling on TikTok. I'm like, dude, I need cuddles really bad. Like I do. Like if I like hug my ex, like even today, I could fall asleep like this.
Yeah.
If I try to go to fucking sleep, I stay up 2 days in a row some days. It's horrible. It's so bad for your health.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even missing an hour of sleep than your normal sleep schedule is terrible for your health. I've had my own experiences with that, but so do you see a pattern in all these people that have cheated on you? Is there like a certain thing like thing that you've noticed or pinpointed, or is it just like it's what you expect
I
now?
just think that's the gay community. Like
Yeah.
like it's like one, social media allows people to slide into DMs so quickly. You got Grinder, and guys are guys. Like if girls were like guys, like my God, like the only reason straight guys don't have more sex is because straight girls know that that's all they want sometimes, and they don't allow it. So like they're like a dog on a leash, and they gotta wait, and that's the only reason. And there's no like there's no fucking dog owners in the gay community. They don't fucking like make them earn it, and yeah, it's just kind of fucked up and sad. And like now, and it's evolved me to just like be like, all right, well, I guess I'm just gonna have fun, and if I get a sleepover with a cuddle, like, and it expands, like, sweet. But if not, then I've just taught myself to be alone again, which has been great because like my impressions are on point quicker, but there's just like there's everything's on point quicker, but there's not that chill. I don't have a chill button anymore. It's just go, go, go. And it's like, I need to fucking chill the fuck out a little bit.
Have you practiced meditation or tried meditation?
I meditate throughout the entire day. Like,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, meditation's phenomenal. When you're biking, just think about your feet, and then all of a sudden you just think about like, clearing your mind's the number one thing with. I like to tell people, like, your mind is your best friend or your most powerful weapon, and people don't realize that. Just root themselves in the current moment. Like literally, like I'm talking to you about all these things, and I'm actually experiencing all these past things. But what am I really doing? I'm just sitting here. So it's like Bruce Lee with the cup of tea. Like, just empty your cup, chill out. Like, it's better not to think about anything and realize everything's an illusion, and then nothing means nothing, and then restart over. And people need to like really understand that. Because they wake up and think like, oh, I got the nice car. Like, oh, no, dude, you're not the shit. Like, dude, you bought that car, and like your dad helped you get that job, or like something. I don't know. Like, there's always a way to humble yourself. So, but yeah.
Absolutely. And that is consumer. Is it consumerism the word? I don't know. But there's a problem. Another problem amongst the gay community, in my opinion, is this image of what they think success is, like the Gucci bag, the Chanel glasses, which there's nothing wrong with that. Those can be cool, but it's like if you have $12 in your wallet and you have a Gucci belt on, that's not success. That you're not rich. You could look the part and try to look the part, but you're not fooling anybody. And I don't know where I was going with this, but I think I was just trying to make a point of like we need to focus more on each other and on relationships and who we are as a human, and being a good, decent human, rather than looking like what we think success is or what we think the ideal person should be. And that's kind of my point.
Overcompensate so much. And like if you ever get cheated on, like anybody out there listening, it's like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Like literally fucking write that 9,000 times. Because dude, I put so much, like, I just felt like the biggest piece of shit. Like I was like, dude, like what did I like? And I just put it on me. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. It's like, so stop beating yourself up. Like, holy shit, like stop beating yourself up. Like people just do. Like, it's like, I don't care how smart you are, your heart will fucking take over your brain 9 times out of 10. And you want to be with them and you want to watch that movie, and it's fine. And like, you love them, but you should love yourself more to the point where you don't put yourself through that stress.
Mm. And how do you, in your experience, how do you practice self-love?
Ah, I'm like selfish because, like, I'm gonna go golfing. Like I always say, like, dude, if I come home from work and you can't entertain me more than a James Cameron movie, then I'm not gonna fucking be with you. Like it was a joke, but like it's true. Like like my time is my most important thing, and like, that's how I practice self love, through working out. You know, it sounds stupid, but like, showering like a longer time, and like, just doing like things for you, and eating kind of right and balancing it out, and just not putting yourself in stressful situations. Because like, I always, like when I was like younger, I always felt like it was kind of like lame that people needed people to complete themselves. And maybe I'm biased, hence the fact I always call myself out, because if you are not able to call yourself out, then there's something wrong. But like, I was given two great parents, I was given two grandparents that lived across the yard from me. I saw them every day. If I had to use the bathroom and our bathroom was taken, I'd run across the fucking yard. My grandpa's like, "What's wrong?" And then I'd run in the bathroom. He's like, "Oh, you gotta go to the bathroom." He'd laugh and shit. Like, he'd buy me popsicles. We go golfing. Like, I had tremendous amounts of people in my corner. And I know what it feels like to have people in my corner. And that was my number one goal in a relationship, to show them and give them hope that, like, dude, I got your back. Like, you have no idea how badly I got your back. But like, nobody respects that. And I always thought when I was a kid, like, but I don't need you to complete me at all. I complete me. And like, when you see people at parties with like boyfriends, girlfriends, boyfriend, like, and they're fighting for like the entirety of the party in the corner.
Mhm.
Holy shit! Like, dude, you just wasted so many great opportunities to have fun. You
Yeah.
need to get out of that relationship. Like, it's not worth it. People fight, and you're never not going to not fight. But when that's the thing, you need to leave. And people just don't, because they're comfortable in the routine, and they don't understand what
Mm.
life's like outside of that, and they're afraid to do that because it's a unaware, like, they're ignorant to that feeling.
Totally. Yeah. If you're fighting all the time in a relationship, then you might want to reevaluate that relationship. I liked what you said. You said something about being comfortable um, alone, or comfortable, comfortable without a relationship, because I think a lot of people, especially, I know our audience skews younger, but when you're growing up and you're going through high school and college, you think that you need that boyfriend to complete you, as you said. Like, you need that boyfriend or girlfriend to give you validation. And I think it's so important to reiterate that you're valid as you are, as an individual. You don't need anything else to validate you, anything external. You don't need a boyfriend to validate you. You don't need Gucci shoes to validate you. You just need yourself, and you need to practice self-love. And I think that's just so important for young people to hear, because I know that a majority of people who are struggling with that, they believe that they're not valid or worthy, and so they turn to exterior things, and sometimes it's harmful, toxic things, like a bad relationship, or they get in a bad situation with money because they overcompensate and spend money they don't have. So I appreciate you bringing that point up.
And it's just like, I want like the younger gay kids to like just write down in a journal over and over again that you're worth it. Like, because like
Mm,
I was given like 9 billion hugs as a kid. Like, dude, that just creates confidence and love in you. Like, and if you're like experiencing a family that doesn't do that for you, like, that's one, super unfair. Two, don't let the hate win. And like, it's so much easier said than done, especially at like the young age. And they're growing up in a time where I didn't have technology like this. We had camera phones when I was a senior. I was like, what the fuck's that? And it's like a camera phone. I'm like, dude, that's so sick. I'm like, let me see that. It was like a flip phone too. It wasn't even an iPhone
Yeah.
yet.
The Motorola Razor.
Oh, dude, you
Yeah.
were cool if you had the Razor. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude. I'm like, so like, so these kids are in school and they can't even get away from it because there's like social media sites that are made just to hate on that one kid. It's like, that is fucked up. You're an evil person if you spend any amount of time to make somebody else's life worse. Like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you got something so wrong with you if you do that.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Well, Gary, we just did a little bit over an hour. Do you want to drop your socials? Shout them out.
Sure. Garbear88 is my TikTok, and Garbear88 is my Insta, and I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, and talk more about things and dive into questions a little bit deeper. And yeah, I hope you guys learned something. And I really, really appreciate you. And maybe next time we do this, we could switch gears and I could interview you because that's what I usually do is talk about myself. I'm like, well, thanks, dude. I kind of like that was nice. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Let's do it. Hey, there's always a spot available for you on this podcast. So
Did we
I
ever have
appreciate you.
any actual questions?
Let me look real quick. I don't see any like actual questions, but yeah, that furry person, I kicked him out. So the furry hater. he was getting annoying for everyone, he or she, whatever they are, they were getting annoying, engaging in comments that I just didn't feel like needed to be commented. So yeah, I appreciate it, Gary, and I hope you have a wonderful, safe time in quarantine and continue to make your awesome videos.
Thank you, sir. Be safe too.
Absolutely. Have a good one.